We had another great morning this morning. We had a good evening as well. Got off a few trades there that were all profitable. So it was really nice. Um, Hopefully, y'all joined in. A lot of times I will hop on in the room in the evening whenever there's a webinar that night. So that's something that you can, sort of note if you ever want to join us. But we had some nice trades. Anyways, again, my name is Daryl Martin with ApexInvesting.com. This is another Be the Sniper or Be the Target webinar series. It's your choice. Make it today. And you got to be one or the other. So we got our usual disclosures. And wanted to make you aware, the markets close early on Friday. Okay, so they close like at 12. I think Nadex has actually closed the entire day. So what do you think you should expect on a holiday trading day? What do you think is going to happen? Be light. You could have high volatility, but you'll have low volume. So low volume can make things actually get really erratic. Would not be a time I'd want to power scalp because it can just blow through moves with a really light liquidity. Okay, but it can make it hard to read. So be very careful. You're best to use the day for education, back testing, things like that. Lilu, if you're trying to get your 10 days in, you can like hop in and out of a micro and just call it a day. You don't have to trade all day. You don't have to try to make your net 3. Just hop it in and out of one, and then that's a day counting towards your 10 days. Does that make sense? So, okay, and then the other thing is expect low liquidity on Sunday as well. So Monday it'll start coming back into play. All right, has everybody got that? Everybody there? Making sure y'all can hear me? All right. Got to be interactive, so that way I know you're there. So, anybody notice the fast markets lately on NQ? I think it's 12 Central. So, can that make it hard to get your entries, your exits filled? Yeah, definitely hard. So, why are they fast? Well, we got Corona. We got a lot less liquidity going on. Right? It's a whole lot less liquidity going on. So, you're going to want to be really careful when you're trading that. You're going to be aware that, hey, fills are going to be hard to get. One thing you're going to want to do is in your ATM settings, is go in, sorry, not your ATM, but your stop loss settings. And go down here and say use stop market for stop loss orders and set that to true. Because if you use a limit order, what can happen? What happens if you don't set that? So who all knows? We got one answer so far. What can happen if you use a limit order? Yeah, it can not get filled. It can gap over and just keep going. Jump through it, doesn't fill, like bad fill or no fill. So, especially on NQ, but really I always use stop market for my stop loss orders. Okay, again, that's right click over here on Chart Trader Properties and then just select that to true. Okay? So, when you see orders getting jumped, things like that, move over to ES. ES is a good thing to trade. Always. I always use stop market for my stop loss orders. In all markets. But move over and trade ES. So don't sit around and get run over all day on NQ. Move to ES. Okay? learn to monitor markets to know what to trade and when. You're getting your fills on NQ, awesome. You're not getting your fills, it's not working out well, trade ES, okay? One thing that's really important is make sure you're watching NQ walls even when you're trading ES, okay? So there's a whole webinar I did on watching NQ walls, and it's on the Sniper page down in the webinar section. And I think I even put it inside the tutorial section. But make sure you're watching NQ walls when you're trading ES, because ES seems to respect those. Now, have we had some pretty big trending markets? If you don't know which one to trade, just trade ES. So a question came in, how do I decide which one to trade? So just focus on ES if you don't know which one to trade. Yeah, we've had some huge moves, especially the last, just the last couple days. Do you think it's a good idea to fight the trend whenever the market's flying just up, 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 or down, 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 or whatever? Now, we got several ways to see the trend. What are some of the ways that you can see the trend? DR is one of the definite ways you can see the trend. Yes. You could look at a minute bar chart, like a 5-minute or 30-minute. You could watch the 30 tick chart. So I have 5-minute and 30-minute up. So looking at, here's a 5-minute chart. What were we doing all day? Besides this one gap down, what were we doing? Yeah, we were trending. We were trending up, right? There was a period where we did trend down. But most of the day we were trending up. You look over here at the 30 tick chart. You see it trending up. Got a one down pull and then it pushed on back up. Okay? So you want to be really, really aware of what the trend is. I'm going to show you when we do a little bit of chart review of how it can save your bacon to pay attention to that, okay? So really focus more on going with the trend. Don't think this has to be the end or it has to be reversing now. Has anybody ever got caught up in that? Like, it can't go any further. This has to be the turning point. Anybody ever got ran over by that? All right, it can always go further, right? Yeah, right on the way to your stops, exactly. Yeah, trade what you see, not what you think. It's one of my favorite quotes by Larry Pezzavetto. Awesome trader I know. Used to do a radio show with him. And he would always say, trade what you see, not what you think. Because you think it can't go any further, but you see an uptrend. Okay? So just remember that. Trade what you see, not what you think. Your thoughts put emotions into place, because when you think something, you have to be right, and therefore you have to make decisions, and when you're wrong, you try to fight them. So do what the market's telling you to do. During the super trends, focus on things like hidden divergence for continuations, right? That's one of the big things you can use now. So did anybody catch that webinar last week and the recordings and even the bonus video I put up on YouTube and on Facebook? We taught you how to look for hidden divergence and see those continuations in trends, so you're not just looking for reversals. And John made a bonus 10-minute video showing you how to use the detectors as well for hidden divergence. So make sure you go back to Facebook or YouTube and watch that video. I think I might also put it in the I put it in the webinar section as well, the bonus video. So take advantage of that. You can use OD during a trend, but that's the one time you'd be actually looking. You may not always want to take a divergence trade. Maybe you want to wait for a double divergence trade. But just be more careful on your divergence trades when it's really trending. So again, if NASDAQ is, or ES is super trending, or if NASDAQ is trending and zippy, as it trends, like it's up, down, up, down, up, down. ES may be a lot smoother. Have y'all noticed that? It's like NASDAQ can move up and down 15 bars back and forth, and, ES has moved 5 ticks. Right? So it can make it a lot easier. Now, when markets slow down, NASDAQ will be a lot easier to trade. But right now, markets, ever since the corona came out, NASDAQ's been pretty crazy. Always be aware of OPR, type entries in the trend direction. OP related, entries. And combine with sniper trades to help you stack the odds in your favor. And then focus on trades with DR, especially double TXs with DR. And that's the main thing I'm going to show you when we do, chart review today. So let's check out the chart and look at, let's see, where did I hide my ES chart? ES. There it is. So down at the bottom, I have my detectors. I also put a detector video up on YouTube today and on Facebook on how to get all your detectors in the lower screen. One thing I want you to notice is look for, it's under the webinar section on the bootcamp page. It's also on Facebook and YouTube. All right, so let's look for the white bars, the double TXs. Okay, and let's see how many of them work or don't work that are going with the trend. Okay, and we'll just define the trend as DR. So here's a double TX, right? Now this one's coming off a wall, which is pretty nice, but right there, that one worked, right? Double TX, moved up 2 bars, profitable. Okay, now we got a double TX going short. Is it with DR or against DR? Against. So the previous one was against, it won. This one was against, it lost. Okay, we got another one. Is it with DR or against DR? Against. And it lost. We got another one. Is it with DR or against DR? Against. And it lost. That would have made for a really bad morning, right? All fighting this big uptrend that's happening. So, is that a simple rule that you could put in place when you're trending to not go against DR on a double TX? Yes, I'm saying that 2 of my losses today were those right there. I mentioned it before, but I don't think it got really caught. And I know we mentioned it in the room, but I wanted to make sure we really drove the point home today. So, all right. So right here we got one. That one's sort of hard to see if it's with or against DR. Is that one with or against DR? Can you tell? It's against. It won. Was it worth taking it against DR considering the last 3 in a row lost? Moving forward, just looking at other ones. Okay, there's another one. Let's say with, but remember, what do you want when we line up DR, like for TX trades? What do we look for? So I think this is a really good example to bring this point out. the bar and the bar before. Because you really don't even know what this one is until it closes. Right? So understanding that concept that you want 2 bars of DR to have trend, is that with DR or against DR? It's also coil chop. Yeah. So understanding the 2-bar rule like we use on our TX trades, it's against DR. And it lost. So fine, here's another one. To go short, is that with DR or against DR? Against. And it lost. Alright, so do y'all see that point there? Like while we're trending, you definitely want to be following DR. What do you think? Is that right there what made the whole webinar worth it? Just seeing that, like all those losing trades became non-trades. And what do we talk about? It's not just about when to find the trade, it's when not to take trades. Now we get into this evening. What are we doing now? Like, is the market trending right here? No, we're range bound. Okay, so in range bound markets, not a big deal. Okay? So, like, we took this short OD in the room tonight. Then we got a long one here. We took that one. And we called exiting on it because it actually had a paw. We got out of that trade. Now we have a short one. And we took it because it's range bound. Does that make sense? So you're going with the trend unless you're ranging. In ranging markets, double TXs can be great against DR. In trending markets, we want to go with DR. So range bound, you don't have to worry about TX, ETX, double TX on DR. It's when it's not range bound when it's trending. It's the opposite, Joe. So when it's trending, you want DR to line up. So double TX, the same as TX. Just like on TX trades, can we take this short? I mean, no matter what, I guess we could take that short. But let's see here. If we go on a TX trade, even if that wasn't a double TX, would we be able to take the TX? You want to watch out for 2 or 3 bar chop. You can't just have 2 bars though. You have to have like 2 and 2, 3 and 2, you know, stuff like that. Like we had 4, 4, 2. So we're not in 2 and 3 bar chop. So yeah, we can take top of range trades just as a TX trade. Now in this trade, what happened? We had what, 1, 2, 3, 4. What usually happens on the 4th hit? Usually breaks out. If you were in the room tonight, you heard me call that, right? I said I'm expecting it to break out. And I wrote that trade down. Okay? So usually on that, third, especially the 4th hit on ES is like magical. It just breaks right through it. All right, so now let's go back and let's just look at the day a little bit. All right, so right here, what do we have? We have an elevator trade. Here, let me make it more to the right of the screen. Exactly, 2 and 5 on trends. So we got an elevator right there. There we go, winning trade. You don't get those? So elevators are coil chop trades, meaning up, down, up, that have a cluster bar on the second or third bar, and the final one has a trapped Xbox, the paw, or mini magnet. So up, down, up, cluster on second or third bar, trapped Xbox with a paw or mini magnet. And you go in the direction of the trend. So entry would actually have been right at 9:35. Okay, so right here, we don't have OD divergence, right? You also get a voice that tells you elevator, and you have a detector that'll tell you. Now we got a long. Right into what? And then you get what? What's your next trade? So long into settlement would have been a tricky one. You're right at settlement. And you just pulled back off of it. What's your thought about this third bar swing just now? Like, pretty much hitting this price and pulling back. What do you think's going to happen? Is that a high probability trade or a low probability trade? Worked out. So, may have been a risky trade. It was with DR. It was above settlement, but we did just hit it. All right, what do we got right here? What is this? OD divergence, right? So we had a higher high, and the OD number was less than half of the previous OD number. Right there, winning trade. Now we got a double TX with the trend or against the trend. Against, so we don't take it. It won. We got a third bar swing, still going against the trend. Nope. That one won. So now you're questioning yourself. Should I just take every trade, right? Is that the game you play in your head? Exactly, and going right into settlement. So, yeah. You see a trade win, you're like, oh, I should have just taken this trade. And then you take the next one, double TX going against the trend again, and it loses. And then you got another one going against the trend, and all of this. But notice where's all this happening? This little mess right here. Right at settlement. Now you got an elevator to go long that is with the trend. Okay, so we take that one. Looks like it would have got there by about a tick or so. I'm not sure. Let's see if it made it. 30.50, 30.52. Yep, literally hit it to the tick. All right, now we got another double TX at settlement again, going right into settlement against the trend. So we don't, and we got 2 3-bar chop as well, don't we? So we don't take that one. Okay, we have a elevator now going long again with the trend, bouncing off of settlement. You don't want to take an elevator after you've had coil chop. And it's the second one in the trend, so we don't take it. We like the first one in the trend only. Right? So that one worked. It's okay. We want the higher probability setups. All right. Let's see. We get a long. Is it with the trend or against it? It's against the trend. It's an ETX going into a paw, a ZOI, a wall, and a dynamic magnet. So not the best trade. I mean, it's a possible trade, but it's not the best trade. And it looks like it would not have made the profit unless you did the rule where you follow, where you put your take profit right before the wall. All right, we got a long right here. Do we take this? No. Going against DR. See if we had ODD short on that one. If we did have it, you wouldn't consider. But it just kept trending up. 300% probably didn't have ODD on it. All right, we got a long here. Can we take this? Yeah, it goes right with the trend. There we go. Is following the rules working for us? Is putting the edges in our favor versus just taking every trade? Is that working for us? Has anybody noticed when they break the rules or just try to take every trade and not make the odds stack up in their favor that it doesn't work so well? All right, we got a long right here. Can we take it? All right, so what would have been the rule on that trade? And I don't even know what happens on the next two bars, but what would have been the rule on that trade? Where would you have taken profit? I mean, it's a valid trade. You got room. You're going up to the wall. Market's often attracted to it. But what's in the way? Take profit just before the mini magnet. Remember that rule? It's really important. And it can really save your bacon. If it's just like a couple ticks away, is it worth risking the 6 ticks you made plus another 20 ticks for 2 more ticks? Like, is that worth it? I mean, you're risking like 26 ticks to make 2. It's like, don't be greedy, just take the profit. Right? And that reversed on down. Didn't give us a trade there. All right, do we have a long here? Nope. Going against the ODD. No ODD. But we do have double TX, but against the trend. We have an ETX. We're still in the middle of 2 or 3 bar chop. So you do have room to make a profit on the trade. So I'm not going to say it's a horrible trade on just the flat basis of that. But you got 2 to 3 bar chop, which means you can't take the trade anyway. Is that right? The entry is actually right after the mini magnet, but you can't take it on a 2 to 3 bar chop trade. And it's against DR. Here we got coil chop, so no trade. Okay, we don't got anything there. All right, can we take this short? Yeah, it's with DR. Feels a little iffy with those flux and dynamic magnets in the way, but it's with DR. So, how do you feel about the trade now? We got a flux, dynamic magnet, and a wall. Okay, so everybody's saying I didn't like it anyway. I wouldn't have taken it with all those walls. That would be the right choice. So remember, adding those odds in your favor. Now we have ODD going right into the walls, but I mean, we can take profit right at the walls. Is that a valid trade? I mean, we can take profit at that flux pivot. So, OD trade. It's an OD trade. So it's usually going to be against DR. So OD trade, we take it, take our profit literally right there. One tick before that. Trade. So I like that one because there's room to take profit before you hit that flux wall. Okay. Now we got another double TX against the trend, against DR. Do we take it or not take it? Not take it. We're glad we didn't. All right, we got no D trade now. 100. Actually, no, we don't have OD. 123 versus 89. So nope, can't take it. There we go, and we're at the close of the day. One last trade here. Can we take this short? Yes. And it's a winner. We got an OD divergence trade long. Can we take it? Yes. And it's a winner. All right, so day's over right there. Did we hit our net 3? No matter pretty much what time we started. Would you have hit your net 3 if you didn't take trend into account? Would you, I mean, would it have been more difficult if you didn't take the other advantages into account, like walls being in the way? Now, you'd have a horrible day if you didn't take that stuff into account. Does it help that if we have a level right before our take profit that we take profit? So can you look ahead on a trade instead of, to make it more like review, look ahead and go, what's in the way? Are the odds in my favor? Did we miss out on a couple good trades? We'll just say, did we miss out on a couple trades that worked? Yeah, you're always going to miss out on some trades that work. But the odds weren't in your favor. It's less about getting the trades that work, and it's more about, yeah, it's about 50-50, right? And it's more about avoiding the trades that don't. So, how many of y'all, I want to make a challenge to you again. How many of y'all have been doing your chart reviews? Like going through at the end of the day and then going through and doing this step by step like what I've been talking about? How many of you are trading better because you're doing that? How many of you are not doing it and you're having a hard time? All right, so I got some people that are being honest. So if you haven't been doing it and you're not doing better, do you think it might work well if you started doing that? Would it be worth it to get the results that you want to get? Awesome. I got a lot of people saying they're doing a lot better. Some are saying I'm still struggling to do it. I'm doing a lot better. A lot are saying I'm doing way better. One just said I thirded away the funding. I've had a lot of funding people come through lately. Some of y'all backed off and went to sim. Has that been good for you? Sort of getting your head back in the right spot. Now, here's another challenge question for you. Is on Friday, instead of spinning all your wheels trying to make it trade, do you think you could actually go through and review like the whole week or 2 weeks and see where you could have improved? Just like step by step like this. You don't have to do market replay, just step by step. Maybe do the last few weeks and see where you could have improved. Not just is this a valid trade, but is it a high probability valid trade? Now, how many of you have taken advantage of the 90-day challenge spreadsheet? Anybody on here done that? Or been doing that? So some of y'all are just starting it. Some of y'all haven't done it. Some of y'all have been doing it. Okay, if you've been doing it and you have at least a month, okay, then submit your spreadsheet in the help desk, and next week we will pick out a winner and give away some free access or a one-on-one with me. Your choice. How does that sound if we make that the big thing? Like getting like 2 hours of one-on-one with me on the next 90 days if you will keep up with your 90-day spreadsheet. So does everybody know where the spreadsheet's located? Under what's next, number 4 on the website. So let me log in. I'm going to show everybody where it's at. You want to watch the video with it. So submit it. If you'll do it for the next 90 days, we'll give you some free time and we'll give you 2 hours of one-on-one training with me. That sound good? Is that a motivator to make yourself stop and log your trades each day? I mean, I don't get anything out of you doing this, right? So I just want y'all to be successful, so I'm trying to give you incentive to do what you need to do to be successful. So where you're going to find it is, see where it says what's next under step 7 there? Under step 4, there's a video and there's a Excel spreadsheet you can download where you fill it in. And that video goes through how to use it, how to fill it in. It even has a section for Lilu now. It's a brand new one that we just put up last week. Okay? So I want to challenge you, if you've done at least a month, to go ahead and submit it, because I'm going to give away some free time and a 1 hour one-on-one. And even if you've submitted it before, keep doing it. Don't just stop doing it after you've done the first 90 days. Do it every 90 days. So now the 2 hours is obviously for the drawing winner. Okay? So you get 2 hours and some free time if you're the drawing winner of the person who submits it. Does that work? So free time and 2 hours of one-on-one. Sweet. Okay, so that is really what I have for tonight. So short webinar. Let's see, I had someone say it's my favorite thing to do. It's massive. Awesome. So going to be picking it back up. But yeah, that's what I got for tonight. It was a short webinar, but just I wanted to really drive home that point of the reviews. I wanted to go through and challenge you to take advantage of Friday and make it an educational day. Remind you that it's a holiday. I wanted to challenge you to do the 90-day spreadsheet and really push the point that you want to trade like any of those TX trades with the trend when the market is trending. Let's see. Somebody's asking about the 30-tick chart. There's 2 ways to do it. I just load the basic one. But let's see there. What is the name of that template? Isn't it just like basic, OP basic or something like that? Like 30-tick. You ought to have one that says 30-tick plane. So you just open up your chart and you choose the 30-tick plane. I don't have that one anymore. But you'll have a 30-tick plane template. I'm trying to see if I have it, but oh, there it is, right there. 30-tick underscore 30-tick plane. So you just open your chart up and you choose the underscore 30-tick plane and make it 30 ticks. I load everything with the same workspace. I don't have multiple workspaces because multiple workspaces can slow down Ninja. So I just use one workspace. All right. Sweet. Does that answer everybody's questions for the night? Awesome. We all have a great evening. I will see you in the room tomorrow morning, okay? Awesome. You have a good night.